right, welcome to Cosmic Channels. Please call 1-833-703-0424. Cosmic Channels are open.
Woo! I'm Braden.
I'm Zell.
And I'm Andrew.
Fuck, Andrew's huge right now. We have to fix that.
Huge Andrew.
It's the way it's supposed to be, boys. This is it. I'm like fucking Zordon. Rangers.
Well, funny story is we're missing a Cosmic Channeler tonight. Dan is MIA. We haven't heard from him all day.
It's Easter
we don't
Sunday.
know where he is. Easter Sunday, and he's gone. So we'll also take calls on where you think Dan could be. Our leading theory is that he had too much turkey or Easter ham, and he's snoozing. We're obviously going to dock his pay for this because, and it's going to go on his permanent record with Big Theory Productions.
Yep.
We'll probably give him a letter of expectations and file it.
Tryptophan is a hell of a drug, man. That shit'll knock you down.
Get you down.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan, he got probably crunked afternoon with his family. Fell asleep about probably 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, and he'll be out for the night.
That's what I think too. I think he's gonna. Well, the funny thing is today is also the first ever, after the show, a mandatory meeting that we planned all together. He's gonna miss the first ever mandatory meeting for Big Theory Productions.
Yeah, give us something
These
to talk
are grounds
about.
for termination. I don't want to. This is
listen,
no laughing matter.
Maybe the guy's getting his batteries changed, going for a fucking oil change or something like that. Like, let's be honest.
Well, I don't know really what to do with we haven't tardiness. That's a big thing. I'm not happy about it, but
We can discuss his dock of pay during the meeting.
Yeah, 100%.
Give us something to talk about.
Tonight, though, we're taking any and all calls. 1-833-703-0424. Or is it open channels? What do we take? Is it open line?
It's UFOs.
UFOs.
Aliens, your thoughts, theories, stories, experiences. Whatever you got.
Yeah, we want to hear it. Your theories on where Dan could be on Easter Sunday.
Yeah. All right, we got a caller on the line right now. Let's bring them on. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hello, what's going on, guys? Chris from LA.
Chris from LA.
Woo! Happy Easter.
Welcome back to the show.
Happy Easter. So what's the topic today, boys?
We were looking for aliens, UFOs, your thoughts, theories, experiences. What do you got for us?
All right, so reptilian.
Yep. Are you one?
My theory is, yes, I am.
Thank you.
I find it hard to believe that. I believe that there were reptilians before. Now, dinosaurs back then used to live millions and millions of years before us. Like when apes were around, it only took a couple million years before they started evolving into what we are today. I find it hard to believe that dinosaurs did not evolve into something bigger.
Like more intelligent?
Yes, like they laughed. They were around for hundreds of millions of years. I don't know. I just think that they found a new place to go. Maybe it was getting, too cold for them, and they decided to leave. Like, let's get out of Dodge.
Right.
Go,
isn't it
Mars or some shit?
Isn't there a theory that they evolved into birds though, and like reptiles that we have today?
Oh, Dan!
The chosen one finally decides to show up. Look at this. Better late. Must be nice to make your own hours.
Yeah. Clocking in.
Dan's here, but yeah, on your theory on reptilians as like an evolved dinosaur. That's pretty much what you're saying. Like a dinosaur evolved to become intelligent, and that's what were reptilians, and they're gone.
Yes.
Or that like they're.
Did it?
Sorry.
Yeah, they didn't go extinct. They evolved.
They evolved and they left.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a theory that reptilians, when we had the Ice Age and stuff, some of the smaller ones, let's say, raptors or something. I can't imagine T-Rex were climbing down to like into cave systems, right, and heading in towards the Hollow Earth, where it was a warmer climate suited for them.
I like
And
it.
basically, that's where they lived in the subterranean world while they evolved, ahead of us and ahead of our time. And maybe that's why, maybe they're shaping the world, and people say, they're going into, they're infiltrating the world's governments and stuff because they want us to pump CO2 into the atmosphere. They want the outside world to be habitable again for them, so they can reclaim the surface.
So the reptilians are using us to terraform the planet for them to reemerge.
To make it back like how it was.
Warmer.
All right. Sure.
Because like we're still in the ice age, still today. Even though you don't see it on like mainland, but Antarctica, up in Alaska, you got
you got ice.
You got
everywhere.
ice.
So it's like technically we're still in the ice age. We're not out of it. So when they're like, oh, global warming, I think maybe. It
So
could
what
be
do you
a cycle, but then it
define
could
as
be
the
us.
ice age? So ice age being there's no ice on the planet at all? Is that
At the end?
considered? Okay.
No ice whatsoever.
Like warm no matter
Because
where.
before, back in like millions of years ago, there was a time where this world had no ice on it.
Well, yeah, but
And so when the ice age, came, we're still in the process of the world changing into back to how it was before.
right, yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I always thought there would be ice no matter what the age was. It'd just be a lot smaller, like only at the very south or very north. But I don't really know, to be honest. But either way, you're saying it's still warming up from the ice age. We're not completely out of it yet.
Yeah. And then the
Yes,
reptilians
no,
are
we're
going to make their
not out of it
triumphant
yet.
return.
And once we terraform the planet with enhanced levels of CO2, they reemerge and take over the planet.
Yeah.
Wait, but so if they evolved over millions of years and they've been sitting there for millions of years, why don't they just evolve to our standards, like
Well, maybe it's
like the
too
way
late.
the atmosphere?
Maybe they have. They
got-
just like it. They still remember the glory days.
Yeah. The glory days.
That were 65
Well, you
million
got
years
some
ago.
reptilians
Yeah.
or some reptiles that could change the color of their skin. Maybe they advance enough where they could change their body form. They could morph into what a human looks like
Well, I mean,
when they go out in
that's
public.
talked about all the
you know?
time with reptilians, is that they can do exactly that.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the
So
theories.
yeah, so then they could just change into their bodies into humans and just be humans.
Dan, it's not uncomfortable. They just like how we fight, everyone, they want to be comfortable in their own skin,
They want the glory days back.
which is scaly green.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always liked the theory of
What's
like
that? What's that lady? What's that? On X-Men, the chick that transforms.
Mystique.
What's her name?
Mystique.
Yeah. So she always wanted to be herself until she met Magneto.
Oh,
and
then
they
she
were
was
reptilians. They just want to be themselves.
hear you.
Yeah.
As far as that theory though, as dinosaurs evolving to the part where they're so smart, we've talked about it on our case file when we did reptilians. I like that one. It's just like they got so smart and they actually just left 50 million years ago.
No, they never left, dude. I told you, Mario Brothers, the movie, is a documentary. They were smashed so hard by a meteor
Fling
that sent them into an alternate Earth. And they're living in a pocket dimension where they run everything on electricity. They got those weird fucking Mad Max cars that run on electricity and they shrink people's heads. And the punishment for going against King Koopa is de-evolution, and they send you back to your reptile form.
I love it.
Fucking
You
lines
mean
up
you
pretty
love it?
good.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Yeah, it's John Leguizamo. Fucking yeah, it's got everybody good. There's Yoshi in there. The fucking king turns into a fucking fungus. Like nothing not to like about that movie.
All right. Hey, thanks, brother. We're gonna keep moving on with the lines tonight, but we appreciate it.
So,
All
so
right,
Dan,
guys, you
everyone's
have a good
dying
one.
to know.
Bye.
We were kind of theorizing why.
Wait, 1
Why
second.
late, Dan?
Dan, sorry.
Huh?
Before that, Braden, Dan, have you started your recording?
I started recording. now.
Okay, we're good. Okay.
Like 10 seconds after I got it.
What we were theorizing? What's the reason for your tardiness?
I was checking the ATT run and seeing if I had time to go out for a run. Chalk some miles up.
Did you get some miles on?
Only today, this morning,
Hmm.
or early afternoon.
We thought for sure you got drunk at Easter dinner or something, fell asleep.
Oh no.
Um,
All turkeyed
It's
out.
drunk at Easter dinner. Fuck, I hardly ever
doesn't?
drink around I don't drink around my family.
you don't drink with your family?
Fuck,
No.
that's the only way I can endure.
Yeah. How do you talk with your parents?
Easter dinners.
No,
The rite of passage.
we don't really celebrate. My family's not a big
Oh.
Easter thing. That's a cool shirt.
Oh, nice
You like that?
shirt. When did we get those?
They've been on the store for a while.
There you go.
You can find the store
Thanks for putting the memo out, buddy.
alientheorists.com.
Find the store. Get a
Find the
shirt.
store. There's one Cosmic channel. It's actually kind of a mix because
Oh, has
Oh,
the-
it's got
has
the. Oh, okay.
It has the combo.
you support both.
Combo.
One shirt, support both shows.
Get two birds stoned.
Yeah.
God damn it.
All right. If you're watching
Got
watching the live stream and you want to call in, the number's right there: 1-833-703-0424.
Yeah, let us know about your UFO sightings. Man, I want to know more about that Montreal sighting.
Yeah, that was popping up. I haven't really looked into it much yet. Dan, did you look into it?
Looked like there was
It's-
fire trucks at the airport. Looked interesting, but
Yeah, I poked around into that one. Apparently, there are 2 or 3 different narratives. Apparently, one that is completely fake. Some students from the University of Montreal or some university said that they made it up. They just used special effects app to put those lights in there over footage from a fire there in 2000. There was a fire that was footage of a fire at the airport in 2000.
So there was no real fire at the airport
Right.
for the sighting.
So, I mean, the weird thing is like because I talked about it, I was like, okay, that airport, I looked into it. That airport, was it Trudeau International
yeah, I believe.
or Dorvray or whatever, or Dorva or whatever it's
Something
called?
like that.
I guess that was the old name for the airport, Dorval. That airport services average 53,000 people a day.
Wow.
And that is not, I don't think that's counting the hundreds of people who work there. And so if there was something like that, it would definitely probably pop up in a couple, not just some shady Facebook post that said, hey, this got deleted. I'm going to post it again and then not get deleted the second time. Also, there's a couple other problems. I asked a couple of people as soon as I saw it, I started looking around. When the camera pans down a little bit, there's like snow on the side. So I asked some people in Montreal, the people who were in our Discord server, I was like, hey, is there snow on the ground in Montreal? They're like, no, there's not. And supposedly this is supposed to be from what, Sunday or Monday? This
Yeah,
Monday?
Yeah.
recent. Yeah.
last Monday, yeah.
Yeah, and there was like piles of snow outside that airport.
Middle of winter type of snow. Yeah.
And people are like, there's no snow in Montreal right
Oh,
now.
so
It's
it
all
was-
melted.
it was all a prank by these kids making a project.
Well, that's one of the things they put out. But there's just like looking at that video is just like there's a whole bunch of stuff people were commenting on the fact that you had these lights which are obviously brighter than the moon, the green in color or something like that, but they cast no light. There's no shadows cast by the moving lights. Like there's no green lit shadows or anything. But like when you look at the ground and the kind of stuff in the foreground, like you would expect it from lights that strong that are pointing down at the ground. Wasn't any. So there's a lot of stuff weird about that thing. And then they're like, oh, in the post, some of the posts are like, supposedly the airport was off limits at this time. And I was like, okay, so that sounds suspect because do you know like logistically what you would have to do to make an airport off limits at that time? So I went in and checked, like, were there any flight delays or cancellations that day? Nope, none. All the
Oh.
planes got exactly where they needed to go that Monday.
Well, damn.
So the Maester put in some work, is what you're saying.
A little bit.
Can't pull that shit
at
with a
least
mace,
at
dude.
least 4
Yeah.
people.
Come
At least I
on.
saw that video from at
Child's
least 4
play.
people,
Yeah.
and some of them
He's-
not in our Discord server. Some of them are
He
friends with some
sleuthed
other.
it. Fake.
Yeah.
Internet sleuth.
So just poking around at it. Some people are like, oh, as soon as I said like, well, it's definitely not from this Monday. They're like, oh, well, maybe it's not this Monday. It's, it could be from some people are saying it's from a couple of weeks back. And I'm like, okay, but you would still see reports of traffic or traffic jams, like getting into the airport or something. Like if you didn't see the reports about that, you see the reports about traffic about going into the airport, because I'm pretty sure like that
Right.
would happen.
Why would there be traffic jams?
Because because the fire trucks. The fire trucks
Yeah,
are
the fire trucks are on scene. Every major or every major airport has their own fire department.
Yeah, it's true.
I know, but the cars would be coming in, and the airport is off limits. I would assume that
But they have a fire hall in the airport.
Yeah,
right,
but in
the
the
fire trucks
picture,
were parked outside of
of the gates.
like they were
Oh,
they were
weird.
right there where like the pickups and like departures were.
Um,
So it's like that's where the cars would have been driving through, and there definitely would have been traffic jams. Or if they made the whole airport off limits, you would assume that any of the roads going into the airport would have been off limits.
okay, well, let's continue. Let's continue to those theories with the Montreal possible sighting in a second. We got a caller on the line. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Bonthar from Utah.
Bonthar from Utah.
And
Thanks
yes,
for
Bonthar
calling.
is my gamer tag, so I'm going with that one.
Sounds good, man.
Groovy.
What do you got
So
for
a
us tonight?
long-time listener, first-time caller.
Nice.
You guys, I found your show because of my first sighting. So I'm 48 years old. I've believed in UFOs and life outside our universe or everywhere besides Earth all of my life, but never had proof. So about 3 months ago, I was walking down my trail in the back, and for some reason I didn't bring my fucking phone. And it was sunny day out, clouds were fluffy, blue sky, but a lot of clouds. And I saw these metal orbs floating in and out of the clouds. So they were high enough where I couldn't tell really what they were. But I stood there for like 10 minutes watching these things, and they were the size, I could say they were the size of the Volkswagen, but they were so high I couldn't tell.
Right.
But I could tell they were metal because every time they came out of a cloud, the sun would reflect off the side of them. And I could tell they were metal, but I couldn't tell exactly. I would say there was probably about 5 of them, but they were going in a circle, like slow, like a merry-go-round.
Okay.
And it lasted for about 10 minutes, and one by one, they just flew off into different directions.
Weird.
And I can tell you right now, I don't know what the fuck I saw.
Now, any
It
noise
was-
associated with them?
No,
Were they
no, no,
completely
no.
silent.
And they were high. They were high enough. So I live close to a military base. So I was like thinking right away. I start making logical. Are these planes? But the way they were going in and out of the clouds, right in a circle, and they were round. They were like metal balls, and I can clear as day. I can see the round. They look like smashed up Volkswagens. That's from my point of view. That's the size of them, but they were metal.
Like, so when you say smashed up, like, were they have like a wrinkly surface, or was it like a smooth?
No, they were smooth. I'm just saying about maybe the size. I won't say smashed up, but they were the size of a Volkswagen, just round.
Right. So like a
Didn't we-
small car. Yeah.
Kind of
And-
sounds like the Robert Taylor incident that we talked about. Is that the right name? The Scottish one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's where you got like
remember
Yeah,
attacked by the UFO. Yeah.
The big steel balls.
Yeah, and I was out there for like 10 minutes, and I didn't, only time I didn't have my phone with me for the last 2 months. I don't know why, but it was bizarre. Like I said, I have an incident from when I was a kid, but I can call back another time for that. But I've never had a sighting of any type. I used to live in Chicago. I moved to Utah, and I was only here less than a year maybe, and walking on the trail and saw that. It was bizarre as hell, I can tell you that. And it's light as day, so I mean, they weren't shiny or anything. It was just shiny because the sun was glaring off the metal surfaces. So it was quite bizarre.
No kidding.
Now,
But
just
I
to clarify,
just want to make
really
sure I tell you guys that I found your show because of that incident.
Awesome. Well, it was meant to be then.
Go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's all good. I just wanted to really quickly clarify. So you saw these. Was there erratic movement to them at all? Like how was their movement in the sky? Did you get any of that? Did you get any sense of like fast moving speeds? What was your
so they
sense?
were like I'm telling you, merry-go-round. They looked like they were moving like you would watch in a merry-go-round. They were going in and out of the clouds in a circular pattern with each other. And I'm guesstimating there were 5 of them, but I couldn't tell because of the cloud pattern.
Right.
So they would come in and out of the clouds going in a circle. And I can only see 3 of them take off in different directions. I didn't see the other one. So it's an assumption that there's 5 of them I saw, but I did see more than one of these objects floating around each other. And it was weird because it was like, I'm like telling you, 10 minutes they were flying around each other. And it was slow. It was like a merry-go-round.
Weird.
So quite bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
And I'm just
usually when people say like orbs, like they're usually glowing at night or something, but this is daytime metallic
daytime
orbs.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy experience.
That's
but,
a wild story.
Thought I'd share it with you guys. I've been listening to you guys for a while, so I thought I'd give you a call in with my experience.
No, we appreciate it.
Awesome show, guys. So I'll call back in. I got an alien thing when I was a kid, but I'll call back in.
Yeah, save that one and call back another time for sure.
Cool. You guys have a good one.
You too.
Thanks
you.
for the show.
Take
You
it
guys
easy.
are doing an awesome job.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. Bye.
I'm not doing the running challenge. I'm too fat.
That's all good. Bye. Ooh,
That's cool,
That's
man.
a cool
That's
one.
having an experience like that.
that's a cool one because
I
like he witnessed it for 10 minutes, then just like whatever it was is floating around and in and out of the clouds.
And
That's what happens when
you don't
you keep
hear
eyes
many
on
of
the sky.
those.
No,
That's
usually
weird, though.
usually just like a fleeting glance, like it was there for a bit and gone or something, but like for a 10-minute continued sighting of whatever that was.
And it just sounds, it's different. It's not the, the normal narrative that we hear with the different colored lights and the erratic movement and stuff like that. Like this one's
Very
weird.
patterned. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Strange.
I don't know what. I mean, someone would probably try and debunk it, saying it's a weather phenomenon, but I don't know what kind of
Swamp gas and weather balloon
just floating
caught
around.
in some sort of upper atmosphere vortex.
Can't be a planet because it's during the day.
Yeah. An atmospheric refraction, probably. All of that together. Perfect storm.
The 1 in a billion has happened that
Yeah.
day.
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Ball lightning.
They never happen until they're needed to happen, and then that's the excuse.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring in another caller. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hi there. It's Henry calling again from Fortuna, Northern California.
Hey, Henry. Thanks for calling
What's up,
back.
Henry?
Yeah, missed you guys last week. Was at a party and totally spaced on trying to squeeze a call in.
No problem.
Yeah, well, we were fucking disappointed. Let me tell you, we were waiting. We waited up all night.
Ran the show for an extra 2 hours and nothing.
Yeah.
So it's alien/UFOs tonight, right?
That's the plan.
Okay, so I've got a good story for you guys that I haven't told many people. And it goes back quite a ways. I was pretty darn young when it happened. So this is the same family house, same town, same everything. And I was probably 4 or 5. It was definitely, after the time period where you start actually retaining memories, but still where, it has to be something significant for you to remember it. And I was at this time still sleeping in my mom's bedroom with her. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night, and her bedroom, the master bedroom, is in the back right corner of the house. And behind us, behind the house, is just forest. And we're up above the majority of the city, so we're pretty secluded. We don't get a lot of traffic, stuff like that. And so here I am, little 5-year-old Henry, 4-year-old Henry, waking up in the middle of the night next to my mom, who sleeps like a log. And the room is kind of lit up by moonlight because there's 2 big windows on the back wall. And I catch something moving out of the corner of my eye. And so that kind of draws my attention to the foot of the bed, which is facing towards the front of the house. And, the headboard where our heads is on the back wall. And so I look ahead where I saw motion. And in the center of the front wall of the bedroom, I see something floating up towards the top of the ceiling. and our house has 9-foot ceilings, so open floor plan, 9-foot ceilings, very roomy and spacious. But I noticed this object up in the middle of the room, on that front wall, up really high above everything else, close to the top of the ceiling. So it's like 8 feet up. And what I can make out is a metallic disc that is, semicircled at the bottom, so like a bowl of some sort. And then it's flat on the top. And from there, I can make out a torso up to shoulders and a head and arms. And so 5-year-old me was looking at this thing with the covers kind of over my face a little. I didn't know what it was. I didn't have the idea of waking up my mom because I was more like, hey, this is weird. And I proceeded to cover myself with the blanket. And when I poked my head back out again, I noticed it had moved to the left corner. So from the foot of the bed to the left corner of the bedroom, above where the bathroom door was. And there were 2 of them. And if I were to give dimensions of these creatures or whatever, the only thing I could really chalk them up to was aliens to this day. I'd say the discs that they were, it's almost like they were sitting in them, because it looked like the waist level started where the top of the disc was. So they were kind of chilling in these floating, metallic looking discs, but they were really on the small side, both the discs and the entities, whatever they were. So the discs, maybe the entire diameter were 2 or 3 feet, and then they were probably only 2 or 3 feet tall themselves, from the bottom of like the bowl on the disc to the top of their heads.
So a bunch of little great gazoos, basically.
Yeah, but it was the 2 of them, and after they were just chilling in that corner, I just pulled the blankets back over my head and I went back to sleep. And I don't remember bringing it up to my mom the next day or anything like that, but I did talk to her about it in the following years, and she was weirded out by it, but she also wasn't like, super weirded out about it because she's had plenty of UFO encounters herself. But I definitely remember a lot of, descriptive features of them. So do you guys have any questions?
So
what year was this?
This was probably very early 2000s, so like 04, 05.
Okay.
So there's
because I was born in 99, so if I was 4 or 5, it's probably like 2004.
Okay.
So what you're describing, like these entities are floating in this, looks like a bowl. And so was there 2 of them, or one just floated from one side of the room to the other?
There were 2 of them, and I had only noticed the first one when I had first, when it had first caught my attention. But I think that the second one was there the entire time. It was just in the corner, and I didn't notice it until I looked the second time and spotted both of them in the corner, just chilling almost up to the ceiling, looking down at us in the bed.
Now, is this one of your earliest childhood memories?
It's, I have memories before it that I can recall, but this is definitely like one of my earliest ones that is like prominent to me. And it has stuck with me, obviously to this point, because it was significant enough that it imprinted on me. And it's a pretty simple encounter in terms of like, I remember what they look like. I remember what they did. It was a relatively short time frame, and I don't have like a huge amount of memories from back then, but like this one was like, yeah, this definitely happened. At least that's what is in my head when I think of this. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty certain this wasn't a dream, because I definitely wasn't watching alien movies at 4 or 5 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing for me that I think of like when trying to explain something like this is especially with an like that early of a childhood. I mean, you like kids have we have such vivid imaginations as well. So part of me always wonders when you're recounting a story when you were that young, is if at the time it was, you know, something more you just didn't understand or you didn't know, but it was actually quite normal or something that you were seeing that was something else, and your kind of brain as you grew up kind of went wild with what was that thing. I always remember that, but I didn't know what it was. And like we know how bad memory is and stuff, and like, you know, how any kind of memory like that can completely change over time, and you still believe that that is exactly how it is, when in fact it's completely changed over time, especially when you're that age. And I don't mean to discount your story at all. Like I'm 100% a believer. These are just what pops into my head is when I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I will
that's
say, like,
why...
to Braden's point, like as when we are young, we're sponges, like we will absorb everything. And that year Men in Black 2 came out in 2004. I would say 2004 because
I definitely was not watching Men in Black 2.
Well, I'm not saying that you watched the whole entire movie or you watched the movie, but you might have saw like a preview or something, and you might have just been walking past it. You might have just like seen it for a second in your head. There's a character in that movie that has the tiny little...
That is true.
Saucers.
That flies, and he's in the little thing.
And you might have seen it for a second. You might have not really noticed it, and maybe your brain just like it absorbed it and just had that in the back of your head, and that might have just popped out. I will just say that is a possibility.
Totally. And so going back to, you know, my age, that's why all of my other stories that I have that I usually tell other people are situations where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm older and there were other people around that witnessed it too. So that was a big factor in not, you know, spreading this as much. But it was at that point in my life, like I was old enough that I was aware of like myself as an individual. So I felt like I had a pretty good, you know, to the extent that a 5-year-old could have. I was pretty in tune with like, okay, yeah, I'm pretty conscious. I'm pretty aware of what's going on. Don't know what that is, so I'm just gonna hide under the blankets.
Right.
Yeah.
And no, and like I said, you sharing that story, who knows? We might, you know, get a bunch of other listeners that have been like, I seen that same shit. Right.
I know.
Who knows?
And I was just telling my girlfriend, I was just in the car with her, and I was like, I guess I'll tell this one. And then I was like, hey, what if, you know, in our lifetime we get introduced to extraterrestrial life and it's exactly what I fucking described, and I'm gonna be like, oh fuck, I was right.
Hey, you can call us back and say, I fucking told you so.
I know, and I'm like, it's in the logs here, Cosmic Channel.
Awesome.
But yeah, thanks you guys for having me.
Yep, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good night. See you,
Cheers, man.
boys.
There was that guy in Men in Black. That's right. I just looked him up.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, before the Great Gazoo, that popped into my head. I was like, yeah, I remember that. And I was like, when was that? And then he asked me that, and then I asked him in 2004. I was like, that guy was around, and that is a weird character, and he's got those weird little flying fuckers.
You know what though?
Even if he walked in on his parents watching it or something.
Yeah.
I mean, or maybe it was in the commercials or the
I was saying your brain, like you notice everything. Like you're in your perceptions, like your brain takes in so much information that you're not aware of all the time if you're not focused on it. But it's like 100% when you're awake, taking in everything.
For sure.
And
We got bringing another caller here. Coming on, 1 second. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hey.
Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is DeMichael. I'm calling from Beaufort, South Carolina.
Right on. Thanks for calling in.
I just wanted to like pick you guys' brains. Like, what do you think about the whole theory that aliens might be from like a different dimension?
Oh yeah, we talk about that one. That one's fun. You can get going on that one.
Well, like, you know, to touch on it, like someone in the comments of one of our Facebook groups had mentioned about me transitioning from someone who believed aliens were from outer space to someone who believes that aliens are just interdimensional beings. I think it can be both, but what we know now with organic material and traveling the vast distance of space is that organic material is probably not the best suited for long distance space travel. That's why I always like to lean towards that. Maybe these things are from another dimension. So rather than having to travel immensely, they're just traveling through a dimension in here. Maybe it's instantaneous because they're just popping out of a parallel universe. So I like that more and more every day. So I think that's a very good possibility, especially for you see you hear about aliens that seem very organic in nature. I think those are probably interdimensional beings, and Bigfoot, obviously.
Yes.
Yell nasty.
The El Nasty, exactly. Now, I mean, this show's for you. So, what do you think aliens are?
I think it's probably kind of like, because like they usually seem like major areas where there's a lot of people. So I think it's kind of be like maybe dimensions are lining up in similar places that have a lot of like contact points, so to speak.
Like what people call like the thinning veil, because sometimes people call aliens and like ghosts one and the same, where it's like you're just like there is a overlap of dimension or the veil is thin or whatever, like that theory.
Yeah, something kind of like that. Like how there's there's so many millions of people in a place like New York City, for example. You have all those opportunities for, in a parallel universe or something, a dimension where, possible overlap. So yeah, thinning of the veil.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've always, because when you do, if you ever done, or if you haven't, it's no big, like, doesn't matter. But when you do hallucinogens, mushrooms or LSD or something, when you're on those things, you feel like it almost feels like you're seen into a different dimension sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, so a lot of people who come back from a trip, they're like, was that all in my mind, or is my mind just perceiving like a different version of reality, which could be a different dimension, some people think. But yeah, I mean, I've always liked the theory of, we've talked about it recently too, of like, okay, we started setting off nuclear weapons and that was, rippling through dimensions of space and time, and another more advanced species like, all right, well, it's time to go check on those guys. And they've been here kind of monitoring the situation ever since.
Right. Well, hopefully, I was like, Dan, I'm a squid, so hopefully when I get out, I can do the whole hallucinogenic thing and see what that's all about. I've never gotten to do that.
No, so when the time is right and it's available and you're with people who are competent.
Yeah, by the time you get out, they'll be legalized in the States. It'll be fine.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's the next one.
Hey, dude, I'm crossing
yeah.
my fingers. It's a long year, and then I'm out.
Nice. All right. Yeah, I mean, interdimensional or interplanetary or a combination of both.
Yeah, take advantage of that GI Bill. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm gonna.
That's how Dan became a maester.
Yeah. Get that free money. Get that free money.
Hey, you served it. You might as well take it.
Well, trust me, I'm looking forward to it.
Right on, man. Hey, thanks for calling in and posing the question.
Yes, sir. You guys have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Cheers.
Yeah, I mean, that's the two theories of aliens. They're coming from a different galaxy, or they're coming from a different dimension, or they're coming from a different galaxy, but then they're using not interdimensional travel, but like wormhole travel, like jumping across the galaxy in like no time at all. But
has it been talked about, like, potentially let's say like the testing and the using of the nuclear weapons, could that have opened up some type of wormholes or something like that? Or could have that been the event that thinned the veil that allowed them to be able to travel interdimensionally?
Well, they talk about that with CERN, like them doing like the high particle collisions and thinking that they might have created like some type of black hole and we're in a different reality because
into the Spider-Verse. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I mean that's the whole premise behind the Flash TV show, is like the particle accelerator opens up into Earth 2 or whatever they call
That's
it.
because that's a documentary.
DC Comics.
Yeah.
Barry Allen.
We'll be there in a couple.
How do
of
they
years.
do that though? Like they use it, like it wasn't created from nuclear, like lighting off nuclear weapons or anything like that. Though.
No, not the
Who,
collider.
the Flash?
No. What I'm wondering, I'm wondering if we opened up those fucking wormholes or whatever by using nuclear weapons for the first time.
Well, the thing would be that I would contend that most stars are just giant nuclear reactors. It's like 1,000 billion nuclear bombs going off all the
So
time.
what you're saying is when you basically stars in our sky are just nuclear reactors in another dimension, and the stars are their
Well,
byproduct.
I mean, they're
in our
nuclear
dimension.
reactors in
You heard
our
it here
dimension.
from Dan.
Yeah, stars are actually interdimensional portals,
Maybe they are.
To nuclear power plants.
right? If you
Across the
no, they're
universe.
they are interdimensional wormholes to other parallel dimensions, and then the black holes go to the dark universe, and that's where you get the Batman Who Laughs.
Oh,
And
okay.
That's how you get to the dark multiverse.
See, if you use comic references, I can
You pick up on
together
it.
a bit. Like that works for me a bit.
Well, there's a
It's like
theory.
weird Star Trek. And it's like explaining stuff, and then Andrew's just like, explain it in relevance to comics, and he'll get it. And he gets it.
It's fair.
Well, I've heard the theory said before that because it always says like a black hole must have a white hole like the other side.
Sure.
Someone's like, well, what if the white hole is just all the suns and that's just the other side? It's all the energy exploding out of the black hole, which has been condensed, and then the sun is the other side. So it is a portal. But we'll never figure it out because you can't get into the sun.
Well, it's not a good finish line when you go through it.
Well, I mean, the fact that we have, we have pictures. We had that very first picture of a black hole, so maybe it won't be, too long until we have the first picture of maybe a white hole.
We have a picture of a black hole.
We
This
do.
sounds
Luckily, we don't have
terribly
video
scary.
because I feel like it would just fucking be screaming.
Is the picture of a black hole though? It's like a
It's-
frequency picture, and it shows like the light bending
Right.
around.
It's not like a picture.
Yeah.
It's like it's basically the absence of whatever. But we have the very first picture. That would happen last year, the year before? 2 years ago?
2 years. Well, like even maybe longer it happened, but they announced it publicly like maybe last
Right.
year.
And they're like, this is the first picture of a black hole. We had it on Space News.
Yeah.
Sure.
We
Fuck
did.
that.
That's right.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Maybe those go somewhere. Maybe they don't. Who knows?
Who knows?
Ask Matthew McConaughey. Love, man.
Maybe it's just a matter of time before we get another type of camera with that sees in a different spectrum, and then we can see wormholes. And then boom, that's the secret. You find them; they're just a small little wormhole in your solar system.
Yeah, that's what they were saying, that the wormholes are like interminably small. Like you might have wormholes that actually exist, but they're so small, they're just really tiny. It's like finding a really big one would be really weird. But
the first the first guy to find a wormhole, like they're on a mission to Mars or something. The spaceship just disappears, just goes through it by accident.
I think it'd be weird. It would be more like something would disappear off the ship, or like a chunk of the ship would just like shunk, gone. And you're like, oh, what happened? I don't know. Also, you know what? That is one of my biggest fears, like flying through space, is that you have chunks of stuff flying through at like relativistic speeds, or you just like have huge velocities, things flying ridiculously fast through space. And it's like you could be flying through space, all of a sudden, like just a chunk of rock or something, or iron, just shunk, like flying at like railgun speed.
Dead.
Go right through your fucking ship and just and you're dead. Like that. I mean, how do you avoid that? I don't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't even see it coming. It just.
Yeah, it would just boom, like you got hit by a fucking railgun, just like traveling 7,000 miles per hour, and it's just zink.
I mean, that's the way to go. Just fucking
instant.
done. See ya. Perfect.
Well, you just have a giant hole in your ship or something. I mean, probably wouldn't go real fast, but
put a hole.
Die right away, but it would be like for just tiny, like just a sliver or something. I'm not saying like a big rock just smashes into your ship, but I'm saying just like a tiny sliver or something.
Little pebble.
Just like, like when in tornadoes, when you have like eggs that smash into brick walls and they just like take out the whole fucking wall or something, or they put trees through like steel walls or something,
That's the way to go.
Well, it's like they shoot ping pong balls through ping pong rackets with those air guns.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But in space,
there's no way that ping pong ball could go through that wood racket, and then it just explodes through it like it wasn't even there.
That's also freaks me about faster and light speed, or doing all the, in like the Star Wars universe where they're like, I gotta do all the calculations or don't smack us into a fucking thing. I'm like, how do you know you're flying through like light years of space, like hundreds of parsecs, and you're just like, you're not gonna smack into anything?
Well, I think by the time you get that like into deep space, it's 99 to like the farthest decimal you could find empty, and there could be the stuff they're flying through would be like the chance of hitting it would be so rare.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's.
And they also
Could you
have
imagine
shielding.
Could you imagine having the Maester on the Millennium Falcon being like, "Come on, guys, listen! Like, you can't do that. It's ridiculous."
I'd be C-3PO. I'd be like, "Yo, the odds of us doing this are like 3 billion to 1.
We're gonna die.
We're definitely gonna die.
Maybe you're already R2D2. You just couldn't understand.
Or
what
I'd
he's
just be
saying.
like, we'd be
This
This
is
is
I'll be
Dan.
surprised
Every
and
time we
shit.
have a pod week, if we have any more beers, we're gonna die. We can't do this anymore.
Like, I'll be surprised if we don't die at the end of this. And then, all right, we're here.
I think we all were predicting that Cum Gutters was gonna die, but he didn't.
He didn't
So
die.
All our math was wrong. None of that added up. I don't understand.
I think Dan just spared us during those battles because we were so drunk we couldn't play the game right.
All your luck and skill.
Annihilated.
Oh, come
Yeah.
guys.
100% skill on your part.
Anyone else? Anyone on the lines here, Zell?
She's dry tonight, man. End of season 2
It's a holiday.
holiday.
Let's open it up.
that's-
You got. We'll take any call. Last 10 minutes. Any call. We'll open it up to open lines.
Any call free for all. Let's go.
Any call free for all.
End of the season, whatever you got.
Whatever you want to talk about. Last 10 minutes. If you guys have anything in your mind, any questions you want to ask, give us a call. 1-833-703-0424.
And the
Yeah,
beers,
so we're doing the running challenge. 4 days in. People are putting up ungodly numbers.
we hyped it up
Stupid.
too much, and now people are running
I do
too
want to.
much.
I do want to say one thing. I want to say one thing because this is gonna be the difference. If I notice there is some people, this isn't call it. You can do this is fine. It is a running challenge, and I've said to people, yeah, if you want to walk it and you want to log your walks, log your walks. You can't run, that's fine. Get out, get active. Now the people that are putting up 10K a day and logging 10K and logging their walks, come on, just log the run.
We'll have to
Just
get.
log the run.
We'll have to
you
get
made
technical.
the rule, man. You made that rule. You sound like a sore loser.
But I think we also did
Better
say.
get out there for a 10K walk. As
Ask
well,
for
pal.
it. Can't really.
Go.
We also did say though you can't win if you walk. You can't
Yeah.
be the champ. You
Yeah.
got to run.
You can't be the champ.
You can put
So-
up big numbers and you can get up in the leaderboard, but you can't win if you.
and that's helped because we do want to beat the total from last year, which
Yeah.
we're gonna fucking smash.
Yeah.
Like 4 days in, we are gonna smash it in another like 8 days.
Oh, big time.
Well, I mean, I think you guys are all going a little too crazy. I think you're gonna hit a fucking sticking point and slow down a bit.
No, I'm going easy 3 to 4K a day. Nothing too crazy. Because if I don't do that, if I go hard,
4K a
Micro
day,
runs.
I could
Micro.
fucking do that.
Dude, you gotta
Oh,
microdose those runs.
okay, well,
I do like 5K. I do 5K like every other day. Like that's
I
Braden
do,
did 3 2K runs in a day. I don't think a 2K really counts. As a like, do you even get sweaty at the end of that? Like, are you even tired?
Buddy, I
Oh,
get
dude,
up. I get
2K?
sweaty.
Braden gets sweaty
I'm
doing
sweaty right
anything.
now.
2K is a fucking run for me, man. I do a 2K. I feel good. That's enough for me.
That's fair.
I've been forcing myself to do 4Ks. I'm like, this is fucking awful.
I
Like,
was
here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Yeah, I know what you're saying. You're like, oh, well, you're not running, but that's my goal. Is because when I do that, I can run longer. I can actually do 3 2K runs in a day,
Oh yeah.
which my total is 6. So I'm actually logging more runs without less injury time than when I would last year when I was going a 5K every day and my body fell apart 5 days in.
Yes.
Right?
Mine did too.
I'm not doing.
I died last year.
I do 2 5Ks. I'll do 5K 2 days in a row, and then I take a break because I like.
I had injuries
'Cause
last
you have
year that
things to do?
lasted for
You want
months.
to live your life?
Also, yeah, I also have things to do, but I also like. It's tough.
Okay, we'll
Yeah,
get
I
up.
take a
Legs are
break for 4
tired.
days because I have to work.
Let's get back to the running challenge here in a second. Let's bring on another caller. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
Good. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You know who this
Noah.
is.
Oh, this is Noah.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
Noah.
Noah.
Yeah. Welcome
Yep.
back, brother.
Thank you very much. Happy Easter to all of you. Hope you're all having a great Easter tonight.
Cheers. You as well.
Yep, we are.
Okay, so I had this theory for a while about aliens, and it's kind of different. I don't know if there's any merit to it, but I've always had this weird fascination where I'm thinking, what if the aliens aren't really aliens, but they're humans of the next evolution that are kind of traveling back in time just to observe what the past evolution was before them, just to observe for their part of history.
That is a popular theory of like it's just humans coming from the future to observe where they went wrong.
Right.
They could have given us a warning last year.
Yeah. Listen, guys, 2020 is not a great year, even though like everyone's like, "Oh, we're stoked for the start of this new decade."
But maybe they don't know. Maybe that's why they're coming back to observe, because like, let's say the fucking internet got wiped out or some shit and they lost all their forms of history, or the Library of Alexandria type shit, right?
Oh, like this, they're coming back here because they're like, this, we're talking centuries, sometime down in the future, there's a cataclysmic event that wipes us out, and who's coming back and visiting is the next the next wave of humans coming to check and see how our civilizations, which would be interesting to think, because then they would have they could meddle as much as they want, because they know that at a certain point everything's going to get wiped, the slate's going to get wiped clean, so they don't have to worry about paradoxes.
I get you. I like that. I like the theory though of
Dan, I saw you fucking
Dan had
little eyes.
Had an eye shift. Dan's about to say, well, it's impossible to go back in time as we know it right now.
I'm going to say it just depends on your perception of, like, what your conception of time is. Like, how does time work? Does it work on a linear range? Does it work the linear model? Is it like you go back, you change things that affects it in the future? Or is it the multiverse theory? Is it some other weird,
you split into a river, new river?
Or is it, is it some like thing like that? Or is it like, it is a powerful river. Therefore, when you go back, you can't change anything, because no matter what, time will adapt to whatever it is and will get to the point. Things are predestined. Just depends on what your conception of time is. But we don't know how it really works. So
it's true.
You could really just be anything. I'd say, Noah, if you've never read the Hyperion Cantos by Dan Simmons, just go read that.
Good theory. I never read
that.
Yeah,
read into that
like
now.
that whole thing, like that whole book series. Read that, and it'll pull in it'll pull a whole bunch of strings, and you'll be like, oh, these are pretty neat.
Noah, what do you think about that theory?
I just been thinking about it for a while, but I definitely am going to have to do a bit more research into this now, a bit more, because like I kind of just been thinking about it for like a week now. That's like trying to think like how could it work, maybe, and all that. But like I'm still very new to the ideas, but I am going to. That's why I was calling in to see what else I can do more research wise. But now I'm going to definitely learn into this Hyperion Cantos theory too. So.
Check that out. Check that book out. If the Maester recommends a book, it's probably worth your time.
Pretty good.
Probably
Son,
doesn't have
definitely
pictures in it though. It's gonna
No, it doesn't have.
It's probably
pictures.
single space, margin to margin.
They're big boy chapter books. So
gotta Google every other word. It's no fun.
I mean, no.
Alrighty.
Maybe.
All right. Hey, thanks, Noah. We're gonna take one more call for the end of this season, but we'll talk to you again.
Thank you very much.
All right. Have a good
nice night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Time traveling humans. Yeah, different. Is it different dimension? Yeah, is it a different dimension? You figure out a way to go against Einstein's theory and actually go back in time? I don't know. But humans always, aliens always look human-like. Like, especially if you go with if humans become so technologically advanced that we don't really need all the muscles and our head just grows really big, we're pretty much just an alien gray. Just a short human with giant head, no muscles.
Mm-hmm.
So
can't wait to be dead before that happens.
It would take a few more generations, I think, but
good.
I also wonder, why would our heads get bigger? Like, why would our brains get bigger? Why wouldn't they just get denser?
Because we're all trying to keep up with the Maester.
Yeah, but then we'd get our necks
jacked
would just really huge. We just have we'd have really huge necks, and we just
Or maybe our heads don't really get bigger. Just our body has gotten so much smaller, they just looks unproportional. We have no muscles anymore.
Well, then there's the theory that it's like, well, in the far future, not really a theory, but it's in a couple sci-fi books where it's like humans just end up genetically engineering humans, each one of the humans, to adapt to whatever their living conditions are. So you have humans that live out in deep space. If they live out in deep space, then that population needs to have just like skinny limbs like you have in The Expanse, like the belters and whatever. You make it so they're comfortable living in their thing. So you engineer them to have longer, lighter bones and more able to like whatever orientate themselves like in space. Like their brains are more adapted to being able to like different positions, and their balance and stuff would be different. And then you have other ones who are adapted to, say, high gravity places, so they'd be more short, stout, thicker bones, whatever. Might not even resemble humans at all, almost, or what we perceive, our conception of human at this point.
Bipeds with 2 arms, 2 legs, and some eyes.
Yeah, could put like, I don't know, look at fucking centaurs. I don't know.
Depending
if it works for that planet, and it's like you could be like, okay, if you're able to do it, it's like, why not?
If the gravity is so strong, you need 4
planet.
legs, then you got centaurs.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you need a place where it's like you engineer humans with 4 arms. Like maybe it's better for them to be able to manipulate things that all they need to do all the time.
Just a bunch of machamps running around.
Spider-Man 8. What multiverse Spider-Man has 6 arms?
I don't know.
I'm asking Andrew.
Andrew, he's thinking, deep think.
Or the doppelganger, or whatever it is.
Doppelganger happens in 616.
Yeah.
It happens in 616.
Yeah.
Well, is it doppelganger? So he was on Carnage's team, right? The doppelganger guy. He had 6
doppelganger, arms. Shriek, fucking Hobgoblin.
Right. So I'm like, if they needed extra arms, you could engineer them to do that and have extra arms. But yeah, what happens at that point? Then that goes further into other science fiction concepts about like what does it really mean to be human?
What does it all mean? Well, we're running up on the end of the episode here. We said this is going to be the last episode of season 2. We don't have a return date for season 3 yet.
No, and to be honest, your boys need a little bit of hiatus. We've been running full steam for quite a few months. So realistically, I would say probably 3 weeks to a month off at least.
Take a little break of Cosmic Channels, decide what we're gonna do, how we're gonna proceed, and but we'll make an announcement and a podcast announcement. So if you're not following socials, you'll see what's going on for season 3 or the future of the show. But I know it's been fun. We've heard a lot. What have we done? 30 episodes now. This is episode 30.
Yep. Yeah.
We started them last June, recorded a few, then the Spotify deal, so we put it on the shelf, then brought it back in I think we released December 1st, I believe.
Yeah.
That's been fun. Like different type of show for us. Learned a lot of how to do a call-in show with 3 remote guests plus a caller. Yeah, it was a real learning curve starting this show. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the stories. It's fun. It's easy for us. We don't have to.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's nice to chat with fans and
just chat, hang out.
I'm always genuinely interested to hear people's UFO and paranormal stories.
Sightings of Bigfoot, ghosts.
Yeah.
I mean, we've made the joke before. The dream police. I mean, dreams are just hard to take because dreams could be anything because it's in your head.
Yeah.
Like it's hard for us to understand what the dream was about. Remember, we're not like we're not dream psychologists, and dreams are just crazy. No matter who
dreams are anything. Even dream psychologists like take a shot. They just are really. So I am really skeptical of even like dream psychologists or people who interpret dreams. I'm still like, you could really just. I don't know. I'd almost put it on par. There are probably professionals who would argue with me, and that's fine. But I almost would put it on par with what's his face, the cold reader guy, John Edwards.
Who's that?
Oh, the cold reader.
Cold reader. Is it John Edwards? What TV show did he have? That one where he was like, I'm getting a D.
Oh, it's a medium.
We're talking about Miss Cleo. Like, what are you talking-
No, and I mean, well, kind of like her, yes, but no, John Edwards, he had that TV show for a second, and it was like he would go in there and he'd be like, "I'm getting a D, a duh, and a Darren, a Dara, duh." It's, oh, Darren, that was my brother, and he died in a car accident.
So he
Oh yeah,
lead-
Darren.
He leads you to
Yeah,
say what.
Yeah,
you-
the cold reading. It's a skill. Like it's whatever. But yeah, I'd almost put dream and not that dream interpreters are that, but like it's just like
It's
dreams
hard.
can mean anything.
It's
Like,
hard.
they can
Yeah,
be
and by no means do we say when we're saying that we're taking a break and reevaluating. This will be back. It may not be back in this. It'll be back. Don't worry. It might just look a little different.
Cosmic Channels isn't going to stop.
No.
It might change, but it's not going to stop.
And the schedule might change.
Yeah.
But it's not going to stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop the train.
drop, open up shop.
Man, you hear about DMX? He's
Yeah,
in a
DMX.
coma right now. Sad.
Well, he got is it OD heart attack or something, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah,
Didn't he like get picked up, like passed out in a parking lot like not too long ago?
not sure.
What's
He's
he,
had
Isn't he an
problems with
absolute
addiction for a
asshole
long
though?
time.
DMX?
well?
Oh, I don't know. He got busted for tax evasion.
He's been using hard drugs for a long time,
me too.
unfortunately.
Some people can use hard drugs and be fine, and some people use hard drugs and never get out of it and run themselves down the gutter.
But Cosmic Channels doesn't use hard drugs, and we're gonna keep going.
No, what's considered hard drugs? Where
Yeah.
What's considered
Anything that you have to inject into a fucking vein is a good start.
if it for me,
Yeah,
if it,
like
if
vaccines.
You don't put a vaccine into your vein, but
it's into the muscle, right?
it's hilarious. I was getting these fucking huge lectures on social media about that shit, and like I just want to comment and be like, I've Narcaned you 3 times, and you want to talk to me about fucking putting pharmaceuticals made by fucking scientists in my body? Don't fucking start.
But your shit from fucking Steve on the fucking street corner in the crack shack.
Shit was made in a fucking bathtub, and you want
Yeah.
to start with me? Like, leave me alone.
Drugs got to grow from the ground, or I stay away. That's my
I
my
think
rule.
that's fair.
If you're making them in the lab, or you're changing their chemical compounds throughout some other
Yeah,
means,
they got to grow out of a pile of cow shit.
yeah, you got to
But
grow them out of
not for
shit.
me.
You got to grow them out of your
Yeah.
garden. You can, you know what? I don't do cocaine, but if I went to Colombia and it was fresh, I might try it. I don't do it, but if I was at the source and I knew exactly where it was coming from, maybe I would try it. But I'm not doing it from the
Chew on
street.
some cocoa beans.
I would definitely chew
Why?
the leaf. I'd chew they chew the leaves in the Andes when they go hiking in the altitude and stuff
Yeah,
for altitude sickness and shit. But
Chew on the cocoa leaves.
All right.
all right, well,
Well,
I think that's
let's
it.
wrap this one up.
Wrapped up for season 2. Stay tuned for announcements of the continuation of Cosmic Channels. Thanks everyone for your calls. Cosmic Channels are now closed. Peace.